Hello everybody. Excuse my voice, I'm currently fighting a bit of pneumonia right now, but today I'm going to be talking about unemployment, the different types, the effects of high and low unemployment, and how we try to keep it low. So, what is unemployment? Unemployment is when somebody that is included in the labor force, meaning they're able and wanting to work, is looking for a job but is unable to get hired. So this wouldn't apply to every jobless person. People like students, retirees, and stay-at-home parents who aren't currently job hunting would not be considered a part of the labor force. The unemployment rate is the percentage of the labor force that doesn't have a job but are currently trying to get one. So there are a few different types of unemployment. First, we have seasonal unemployment. In some industries, their labor needs change throughout the year, such as farms during harvest season and ski resorts during ski season. So during the seasons when they need people, they'll hire a lot of people, and then when they don't need as much labor, those people won't be working. I personally work at an amusement park for about 8 months of the year, but when the park closes down, they don't need my services anymore, so I stop and I gotta look for a new job. Next, we have frictional unemployment, which is short-term, and it's when somebody is in between jobs. So again, personally, I switched jobs about a month ago, and there was about a week in between where I was unemployed. So if I was not a full-time student, I would have contributed to the unemployment rate during that time. Next, we have what is called structural unemployment. This is when a worker's skill set is no longer sought out by employers in that industry. So before they can become employed again, they have to retrain and earn a new skill set that is in demand within the job market. And finally, we have a cyclical unemployment. This one isn't as tied to personal circumstances as the others, but it is tied down to the health of the economy. So for example, when the economy is going through a recession, businesses will lay people off to cut down on their cost, and unemployment will rise. After the economy recovers, these jobs will often return, but they are more long-term than the other types of unemployment. All right, so let's take a brief look at the effects of high and low unemployment. High unemployment usually means that we are going through hard economic times. When people are out of work, they have less money and consume less, which hurts businesses, and that leads to even more layoffs and unemployment, so that can be a tough cycle. But you also don't want a zero unemployment rate. A little frictional, seasonal, and structural unemployment are good signs the economy is healthy because people can change jobs and it means industries are evolving. So we don't want the unemployment rate to be zero, but we also don't want it to get pretty high. So what do we do to keep it at our target rate? The U.S. Federal Reserve is one of the main instruments in affecting the unemployment rate. When the unemployment rate is high, it will lower interest rates. That makes it cheaper to borrow money. This will encourage businesses to invest and hire, and also encourages more consumers to spend, kind of stimulating the economy a bit. Also, when there is high unemployment, the government will increase spending on infrastructure and will offer tax breaks to businesses to create jobs. The government will also fund job training programs to keep up with the demand of jobs in evolving industries. Kind of reduces the amount of structural unemployment that happens. A lot of the main factors in unemployment have to do with government-funded programs and infrastructure. Factors such as education, childcare, and transportation all play a major role in making it easier for people to pursue and retain employment. So, why does unemployment matter right now? Well, currently, the job market is facing some real challenges, which is worrying some people about our future economy and the future unemployment rate. In April of 2025, the U.S. unemployment rate held steady at 4.2%. President Trump recently has enacted some aggressive trade policies, including tariffs up to 145% on Chinese goods. This has disrupted supply chains and led to retaliatory tariffs. These policies have created a lot of uncertainty on what the economy will look like, and some fear a recession. Despite these challenges, 177,000 jobs were created in the U.S. during the month of April. That sounds really good. However, not all of the sectors are thriving. Manufacturing lost 1,000 jobs, and federal agencies have announced over 275,000 layoffs. Many are concerned that these reductions will prevent the government from providing essential services and supporting economic stability. In my personal opinion, the massive layoffs in federal agencies could undermine the public trust and disrupt some of our essential services. Reducing the size of the government is generally a good idea, and it's pretty politically popular right now, but it does risk getting rid of the infrastructure that supports our economy. If these cuts in the government lead to delay in services like tax processing or environmental protections, there's going to be significant long-term problems for the economy as a whole, and therefore the unemployment rate. So that has been my first podcast. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. The sources are going to be down in the comments below. Please add any additional thoughts or comments down there as well, and thank you very much.